So I'm a little late with this one, but you may recall that Gotham Knights released a new gameplay trailer or a gameplay demo earlier this month back in May 10th, 2022. And this is a game that I've been anticipating given that it's sort of the successor to the Arkham style of games, though this time you play as non-Batman characters, Nightwing, Red Hood, you name it. It's looking kind of rough though. It's not so far living up to what I hoped this game would be as a more modernized version of those Arkham games. There are aspects of it that look rough. Now, the game's still a few months out before launch, so a lot could change between now and then. But yeah, just looking at that gameplay demo, it does feel like there's a lot of refinement left to do. And it's not a feeling that is uncommon. If you go to the Gotham Knights gameplay demo on YouTube, for example, hosted on the DC YouTube page, look at this likes to dislikes ratio. 27,000 likes and a whopping 35,000 dislikes. And this is kind of across the board if you look at the various versions of this trailer uploaded. Here's the official Gotham Knights YouTube channel's video that garnered 7.3 thousand likes and a whopping 7.9 thousand dislikes. And then here we have IGN's upload, which has over 1 million views, 26,000 likes, and a significant 12,000 dislikes. So there's definitely a lot of mixed feelings when it comes to what people have witnessed in this gameplay demo. And scrolling through the comments, you can take a peek at some of the complaints, like, I think they should integrate more melee attacks with Red Hood as he's not just a gunslinger and actually more hand-to-hand combative. Not a big fan of Nightwing having a tech glider. I definitely prefer him to have his traditional underarm wings to glide like Batman. I think the movement should be more realistic and not what I'm witnessing right now. Red Hood uses non-lethal rounds. Something's wrong here. I can feel it. There's also an inconsistency in the way the game handles that. Red Hood fires non-lethal rounds. 20 seconds later, Nightwing kicks man off of building to their untimely death. Here's somebody saying they really took the best combat system a Batman game could ever have and threw it away. People are not satisfied with how clunky the combat looks in this game. It doesn't flow as well as it does in past Arkham games. And I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Red Hood needs to have more melee combat. They should probably decrease the range of counter attack. Seeing Nightwing backflip half the building to hit an enemy once and then backflip again to the other enemy is pretty jarring. Something's off here. I think it's the character movement, etc., etc. So with that in mind, let's check out this Gotham Knights gameplay demo. I want to go ahead and sort of react to what I'm seeing here and share my take along the way. So here we go. Even the general graphics do look a little dated. Like, not awful by any means.
We're joining Nightwing, also known as Dick Grayson, midway through the game story as he patrols our city. All of the Knights can unlock heroic ways of getting around the city. For Nightwing, it's his glider, the Flying Trapeze.
So yeah, that's getting a lot of complaints.
The Gang are engaged in a hacking crime, so it's time to bring some vigilante justice to the bad people.
Though it kind of appears out of nowhere
Each crime in Gotham Knights
and disappears.
like a mini game mode with rules and optional objectives.
And this highlights
is acrobatic.
complaints surrounding how apart enemies are. So Nightwing has to like flip all the way to the other side of the combat area just to hit an enemy, and it looks weird.
Red Hood gained new abilities after being resurrected by an assassin cult.
That's also getting a lot of complaints.
Mystical leap to move across the rooftop, springboarded by his own soul energy.
It's just not very Red Hood-y.
Below, and timing my strikes and combos correctly makes it build faster. Once the bar is full, heroes can unleash powerful abilities. Red Hood's ranged attacks are a little louder. He fires non-lethal rounds that still do a lot of damage.
Yeah, they talk about non-lethal rounds, but in the gameplay footage you see Nightwing.
Here's Red Hood's barrage ability, which deals piercing damage to interrupt armored attacks.
Kick a guy off a building, and also piercing damage.
The UI you're seeing can be customized.
Yeah, right
to
there.
your
Didn't he just
preferences.
kill
What's on
somebody?
screen
So
is
what's the
what
point
I
of the
like,
non-lethal
but you can
rounds?
set it the way you like.
And if they're non-lethal rounds, how can they be piercing? It's, I don't know, it's very strange logically. Some of the animations individually look cool, but the way they flow into each other can look a bit strange. But the finishers, I think, do look kind of cool.
Holy perfect attack, Nightwing!
That's a weird line to put in there, but okay. But yeah, the weird leaping and the Fortnite glider that appears out of nowhere. Why not have something that logically makes sense?
Now that we've prevented the regulators from stealing data, let's
Draw from
follow
the
Red Hood
comics.
further.
There's so many ways Red Hood could use so many other
The
actual
Batcycle
gadgets
is
that he could
usable
use
by
as a
all
means of
heroes in
transportation.
Gotham Knights.
Nightwing has the
Let's watch Red Hood
underarm
chase down a
wings
smuggling
that he's
band
had
in Southside neighborhood.
in the comics, so why not draw from that? This chase scene looks a bit, I don't know, slow. But some cool animations here and there.
Great. More shitheads to beat up.
And, you know, I like the idea behind one of the characters being this, like, gun fu style martial artist, but yeah, with Red Hood, people would
Red Hood can unlock the ability
like
to
more
attach
melee
a
implemented
bomb
in
to
there.
thrown opponents, so he can detonate it with a shot later. It's a pretty good time.
Yeah, it's very slow, very sluggish feeling. There feels like a lot of pauses between attacks. Ooh, that looks awkward. It looks really floaty the way he jumps out of that. Like they didn't animate something
Now we're back at
between
Belfort,
the
hero's home
getting
base.
to the ledge and then
This
jumping
next
off the
sequence
ledge.
is from early in the game, as we're just discovering the Court of Owls.
Okay, you got a hub area.
The Bat computer runs the map of the city and lets us pursue challenges and advance the story.
Oh god, it's Ubisoft
Nightwing
style
is tracking his next story mission, investigating the Old Powers Club.
marker-filled open world, more traditional design.
The
Elden
workbench
Ring
is where
just
we go
kind
to
of blew
upgrade
open
our
world
equipment,
design
making sure that we're ready
out
for
the
each
water,
new
and
challenge
I loved
in
it.
the game.
Now this
Players
is
find blueprints and crafting materials by taking on missions and fighting crime. Each blueprint has different stats, giving the player a wide range of cool choices for their individual strategy and style.
it feels like looter aspects are seeping in here, and I'm not liking that.
Gear with mod slots is better because mod chips power up gameplay properties.
And also the interface. Whoever designed that really needs to go back to the drawing board. It really does look cheap. A lot of people were saying the HUD there, the interface looked like from a mobile game, and I would have to agree there. They did remove the health bar and
our characters are
damage
still
numbers.
processing the loss of Batman.
But I feel like the sort of looter RPG stats-based stuff is kind of at the foundation still, and it might make certain enemies more bullet spongy,
I could what?
which is what looters tend to do.
You could visit his grave.
You haven't.
I'm not the one staring at the... you know.
Sometimes you're an idiot, Grayson.
The performances seem alright so far, yeah. I'd have to see more, but hopefully the narrative will live up to the weight of this environment where Batman is, you know, dead.
Players can unlock fast travel to get around the city in a hurry with the Fast Bat.
So this right here is strange, where it just disappears into thin air.
Belfry, got anything court-related?
Court of Owls. A secret society as old as Gotham itself.
Whereas the Arkham games,
Behind closed doors. According to the old poem, anyway.
found within the confines of a superhero story practical ways to implement its
An
mechanics.
all-powerful court really is out there. They might be the ones getting all those creeps out of
The glider is both strange and just kind of not as cool looking as if Nightwing were, you know, gliding with his night wings.
It's time for Nightwing to sneak into court territory. Stealth is always an advantage.
I'm in.
Be careful. Let us know if you find anything.
But as far as the loot stuff goes, Assassin's Creed kind of went in that direction, with the newer entries starting from Odyssey, or Origins. Yeah. It became very looter-based, you know, get loot with various rarities that increase stats. And it came to a point where if your stats were too low, you're not high level enough, even if you stab an enemy in the face and pull off a perfect assassination, you wouldn't be strong enough to take him down even though you drive that knife through their face or through their skull. And it feels like
vision helps the heroes solve puzzles and investigate mysteries.
AR shows a trail of blood.
It becomes less about skill and more about stats. And that's my worry with this game, where combat will feel very stat-based instead of skill-based.
There's gotta be a way to open it.
There's some detective-y stuff.
Nightwing's elemental shockwave ability. It interrupts enemy armored attacks and deals elemental status effects.
And yeah, this sequence especially highlights just how much time is spent flipping around the map because the enemies are so separated, instead of just flowing into combat from one enemy to the next. Just bam, bam, bam. Some people say the elemental stuff feels kind of shoehorned in there to make it more kind of looter-esque. And encouraging that co-op element of like, oh, strike different enemies with different elements. I'd have to actually play a game to see how much the elemental stuff matters in combat, I guess.
That can't be good.
Yeah, just in general, like, enemy reactivity to combat, I feel is not very strong. You don't feel the impact of your hits as much as you should. Yeah, like right there, the transition into that sidekick was weird. Animations just flow kind of weirdly. And yeah, he's just flipping around from one enemy to the next. It doesn't look particularly cool, you know?
For anybody wondering how this fight looks with Red Hood, check this out.
Kill the intruders first. Then you can think about the rewards.
And it doesn't help that the player of this gameplay demo isn't making... Oh, that slide. Ooh, and that roll, the transition between those. Yeah, and the distance of the roll, it all is kind of out of sync, all out of flow.
Takes on a Talon
It
gladiator,
looks a little awkward.
one of the Court of Owls' engineered superhuman assassins.
Yeah, that right there, the clunk, 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 how slow that string of attacks is. It's kind of emblematic of the whole combat system so far. Just, it could be a little sped up. And it's not like it all looks bad or anything. It all still looks decent enough. But it's not... I don't know. It still doesn't feel like it's quite at the level of, like, the previous Arkham games. In terms of the fluidity of combat and the level of impact you get with each hit. There's some really cool animations thrown in there, though. It still looks like playable and decent enough. And yeah, that right there, the picking up all the loot, like, It just kind of takes me out compared to
This
previous
box
Arkham
must be in
games.
bad shape. Better hurry. That must be whoever they kidnapped.
I do love the atmosphere of the Court of Owls stuff, though.
Come on, wake up. Believe me, I ain't made a mistake. It won't happen again.
October 25th, so
Pre-order now and get the 233 custom Batcycle skin.
So it's, you know, right now it's May, June, July, August, September, October. We got 5 months left until this game comes out. I don't suspect this game is gonna have enough time to, like, overhaul aspects that people would like to see changed drastically. I just hope for, at the very least, refinement in areas where people have issues with this game. I hope the UI gets fixed. I hope, if they can, they find a way to just add the Nightwing glider instead of the, you know, the proper underarm wing glider instead of the weird hold-on drone glider. I hope they manage to just spruce up the animations and combat so they flow into each other better. Again, like individual animations, individual kill sequences and stuff like that. That stuff looks good. But it's just when they're stringed together, and then certain animations like the rolling and the transition when enemies are really far away into like flying towards them as the combat magnet, if you will, kicks in. All that stuff still looks really janky, really awkward. Speed up the combat a little bit. And yeah, Red Hood relying on the mystical jump. I don't know if they can change that at this point or if they're just going to stick to it. It seems like it's tied into narrative as well because Red Hood got revived and through that gained those magical powers. It's, I don't know, very strange. I feel like there just could have been other approaches to open world mobility than what they have implemented. Yeah, just like polish it up. Just make combat more fierce looking and less clunky and sluggish looking and less inactive. Enemies should be kind of clumped together a little more so you can really kind of boom, 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 go from one dot to the next, if you will, as you strike them down swiftly. It should just feel like it like never stops almost until the last enemy is taken down. Is the feeling that the Arkham games evoked. This feels like there's a lot of pausing because enemies are so far apart, because there are so many sluggish elements in there. There's time, and I don't think this game is going to be like an utter failure or anything. It doesn't look like it's at that level. It just doesn't look like it'll be like that, the best version of the Arkham gameplay. Yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm not like fully giving up when it comes to, you know, my optimism for this game. I think there is a good game there. But it's just like death by 1,000 cuts kind of thing might be in store for this if they don't spruce up what needs to be spruced up and just really refine what's here. But 5 months is a decent amount of time, so I wish the devs the best luck, and I hope that when I do finally get my hands on this game, it'll ultimately live up to being a worthy successor to the beloved Arkham series. But that's one man's take and my reaction to Gotham Knights gameplay demo. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on this game. Are you more excited or less excited about the game with this gameplay demo? What would you like to see them fix or spruce up or polish? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.